I stayed for the full speech. I was disappointed because having gone to town halls and witnessed them across the country on TV and hosting my own, the American public wants details. And what we heard about were executive orders that were addressing social issues. And that told me two things. There isn't the focus on the economic issues, reducing costs. We have seen rising costs, we have seen the stock market tanking, and now we know that rising prices for housing will be impacted by lumber and steel, being part of the tariff impact. We will see rising food prices because of produce being subjected to tariffs. So we didn't hear any of those details. My district wants to know, with $451 trillion worth of tax cuts, the great many of dollars that are going for huge tax cuts for the few at the expense of reducing health care for the many. And they want those details on Medicaid. It wasn't even addressed. $880 billion as a floor is what is assigned in the budget bill he adopted. We need to get the details on that. It could be as high with a ceiling of 1.5 trillion. So it was a disastrous outcome. We didn't get the details. In many points it was boring. It was talking about things that are just not the high priority with the people that I represent. They wanted to hear about that cost cutting. They wanted to hear about job growth. What are we going to do? When I heard him say we need to undo the CHIPS and Science Act, that's a major issue for my district. In upstate New York with Micron in Syracuse, Global Foundries in Malta, helping the former IBM location in Binghamton with battery manufacturing. All of this was enabled by the CHIPS and Science Act, and to suggest we get rid of that, there were a number of things here that just were not addressed. The silence was deafening, and the fact that he resorts to executive orders for all these social issues tells me he's not ready yet to work with Congress. And we, through Article 1, have the power of the purse. Where are you, Mr. President? Start to work with us. The Congress is there, the people have elected the Congress. A bipartisan response to Congress is essential if we're going to get the best work done. And then finally, I think there was an effort here to just wax over a number of the issues and really speak in defeatist terms to the administrations that have preceded him. People want to hear what your plan is. We didn't see those details tonight. I'm grossly disappointed in that outcome.
Do you think there's any room for bipartisanship with Republicans right now?
I think there's a need for bipartisanship, and it begins with acknowledging that Congress has a role. When I asked to be on the Budget Committee, the very last amendment we did in the Budget Committee was to recodify the fact that Article 1 assigns the power of the purse to the Congress, to the House of Representatives. We couldn't even get that passed as an amendment. So we're in this blockade here where they're not addressing the issues well enough, and I thought that the response to the Ukraine tragedy of last week was just not enough. We wanted to hear more. You don't publicly admonish and embarrass and chastise the president of an allied nation and put us into a Putin assignment where we're pro-Putin. What did our family members of the greatest generation die and fight for democracy in Europe in the Second World War? Is their legacy not important? They've tarnished it by creating a pro-Putin agenda. I wanted to hear more about that. And so we've got a lot of work to do to repair the damage they did to the Ukraine relationship.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.